Massive open online courses camps, promoting effective blended courses for language teachers development by Janaína Cardoso. Hi, my name is Janaína Cardoso. I'm a professor at Universidade do Estado do Rio de Janeiro, which is one of the universities at biggest universities in Brazil, with about 43,000 students and 2,800 teachers. The aim of my presentation today is to present a study which is part of a bigger research and extension project called CEALT, which in Portuguese stands for Collaboration, Learning Strategies, and Digital Literacy. The main aim of the extension project is to provide opportunities for language and methodological development for university language learners, future teachers, and language teachers. In relation to digital literacy, instead of just training these participants on how to use digital technologies to teach language, we try to develop their teaching strategies using the technologies. In this way, these future teachers or teachers have the chance to experience this reality instead of just recognizing a possibility of use. Part of the research is to check how effective these intervention actions, such as courses, events, and other academic activities, have been, and what else could be done to improve participants' teaching and learning strategies. Another aim of the project is the development of more effective learning strategies. Again, we believe that by focusing on the development of these participants' learning strategies, in the future, they will be able to help their own learners in developing theirs. In this presentation, I will focus on one kind of intervention activity, MOOC camps. So what are MOOCs? MOOCs are massive open online courses, and this term was devised by Dave Cormier in 2008. Initially, it was used to define some free, non credit online courses offered by internationally recognized universities, such as Stanford, Harvard, and MIT, to a great number of participants all over the world. Nowadays, there are even private portals offering this kind of courses as well. The MOOCs used in our projects were offered by the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs of the United Department of States as part of the Office of English Language Program, RELO, and are available at the site on the screen. MOOCs have shown some advantages, but also some disadvantages. We can list as some of the advantages the potential autonomous way of learning, high quality professional teacher development with low cost for their participants. However, there are also the drawbacks, as in many cases, they are simple adaptations of traditional courses. And another drawback is that they have failed to meet their basic objective, which is to democratize access to higher education, because we still have as their main public uh, people from the highly developed countries. The main drawback that we could consider is the low rate which students complete the course. And other issues that we should consider would be assessment and recognition, validation, and accreditation. Because of all these drawbacks, a possible way of minimizing the problem has been considered to incorporate MOOCs to more traditional classroom environment, creating a blended solution. And MOOC camps seem to be a good example of this blending, as you combine the online courses with face to face facilitated discussions. The term camp here means an informal gathering of learners, and in our case, teachers, working together to discuss new ideas and concepts. The facilitated sessions took place at WEG, at, at the university where I work, which in fact was the first university in Brazil to offer these MOOC camps. This research adopts quantitative approach and may be considered a participatory action research, as each step of the research is planned and developed collaboratively. The researchers are also participants, and all participants, including the ones taking the courses, are in a way or another researchers, looking for ways of improving their own learning and teaching skills. About two-thirds of participants were English language teachers, and one-third were university students, future teachers. The participants were between 20 and 48 years old. In each group, there were always three or four facilitators, being two university teachers and one or two university students who we called monitors. The university teachers were between 40 and 58 years old, and as for the monitors, they were in their late 20s or early 30s, both in their last year of the undergraduate course. All facilitators and other participants are Brazilian, being Portuguese our first language. The main aim of this research is to find out the effectiveness of the MOOC camps in relation to language and methodology development. Therefore, our main research questions were: how do MOOC camps reflect the participants' methodology awareness? Can MOOC camps improve participants' language use? And how useful are facilitated sessions to the success of the course? To answer these questions, we organized three intervention activities, three MOOC camps: teaching grammar communicatively, integrating critical thinking skills in the exploration of culture in the EFL setting, and teaching English to young learners. Each intervention activity consisted of 6 sessions, and we had one session each week, okay, once a week. The first session was an orientation session, and during this orientation session, we talked about the course, the online course. We talked a little bit about the MOOC camp and the idea, the concept of MOOC camp, and also about some learning strategies, especially the learning strategies linked to online learning. The other sessions, they were always about a discussion in relation to, based, let's say, based on the online course. So the second would talk about the first week of the online course, the second, the third, the second week, and so on and so forth. The last session, besides discussing the fifth week of the online course, we had also the feedback. We discussed a little bit about, we talked about the course, and they received their certificate for the facilitated sessions. For the online course, they would receive they received a certificate online and a badge. The interesting thing is that we received someone from the American Consul or the American Embassy to give us the certificates. The structure of each facilitated session was, we started with a warm-up activity, which consisted of activities that could be developed with their own learners in the future. After that, we would have the discussion proposed by the online course, and then a more dynamic activity, which could be poster session, games, or some other activity that involved movement. and or lesson planning, and to close the session, a follow-up activity. The homework assignment was always the online course, so 1 week of the online course. Besides the online course and the facilitated sessions, we used the app WhatsApp for communication between the groups, okay, and not the group, sorry, but the participants, and we could talk also the prepare the MOOC camps. The facilitators could prepare, organize, plan the facilitated sessions. So all the facilitated sessions were planned in group by the 3 or 4 facilitators. As I have mentioned before, during the last session, learners would collect some sort of feedback, and now I'm going to present the results of our questionnaire by the end that they had to answer by the end of each session. In fact, here we are considering the 3 MOOC camps. The question is for the 3 MOOC camps. We compiled the answers and we are going to present them together. The questionnaire, they were not exactly open questions. They had sentences, and the students had to agree or disagree. The first one, for example, was I know, because of this course, I know more about, and then we would mention the topic than I did before the course. And they had to agree or disagree with this statement. And then we had 84% of the people strongly agreed, 8% somewhat agreed, and 8% agreed. So, in fact, everybody agreed that they had become more aware of this specific topic related to methodology. Nobody disagreed. Uh, but when we look at language improvement, it's a little bit different, the graph, but we have to consider that they were language teachers and university students of language, of English language. So probably the course was not focusing on a specific language. So we knew that they would improve language, but in a contextualized way through the development of methodology. And then it's interesting, but even in this situation, we had a very positive answer in relation to language improvement. 24% strongly agreed, 40% somewhat agreed, and 31% agreed. So, in fact, only 5% disagreed that they had improved their language, the level of English language in the classroom. As for the usefulness of facilitated sessions, 84% strongly agreed, 13% somewhat agreed, and 1% agreed. Only 2% somewhat disagreed, okay, with the usefulness of the sessions. Everybody from these groups signed for the MOOC online. During the first session, we would ask them to do that, and everybody did. But from these, we had just 95%, not just, it's a good number, but 95% did both the online and the facilitated sessions, and 3% did only the facilitated sessions. And from the group who took the online course, 66% completed the course, the online course, and 8% mentioned that they would finish in the near future. So for this answer, what happens with this question? They had just 2 answers, yes or no. And then it was very interesting because some of them wrote not yet and some didn't answer. So I believe that these people who didn't answer, maybe they didn't answer because they were in doubt. They hadn't finished yet, but they wanted to finish. So I believe that this 6% has to do with this. And another question that still remains is about the 20%, because as they had just yes and no, maybe this no was not exactly no, but not yet. Okay. If Another question is whether they were interested in taking another MOOC camp, and 94% of them were interested. Just 5% weren't interested in taking another MOOC camp. The suggestions for future MOOC camps were uh, the most voted one was class management, especially dealing with large groups. The second was how to develop speaking skills, especially in large groups. The third was education and technology, and some of them mentioned online teaching. Teaching English to very young learners, critical thinking, teaching grammar communicatively, lesson planning, teaching English to teenagers, and content based learning were the next. The list was very long, and then I cut it in four, and four in that which were mentioned in more than one group of students. The interesting thing is that teaching English to young learners and teaching grammar communicatively, some of these people had already taken the courses, but they like it so much the course that they would like to have more extra activities, another MOOC camp based on the same topic. So the conclusion. These results, I believe, clearly show that the MOOC camps have fulfilled their objectives. According to participants' feedback, they have developed their methodology awareness and improved their knowledge of the English language. Therefore, the majority of them believe that the facilitated sessions were very useful. Now we want to interview two facilitators and two other participants to better understand why the experience was considered so useful. As the results were so positive, we decided to offer new MOOC camps this year in 2020. However, because of the COVID-19, the facilitated sessions will be developed at a conference platform virtually. Okay. So here are the references. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.